Welcome back to my channel. My name is Teno Merkaba, and as promised in my previous video, Venus and Scorpio, that you should check out probably before you watch this video, I'm going to be doing Venus and Scorpio through the houses now. In my previous video, I was just touching on how Venus and Scorpio, like the basic archetype of Venus and Scorpio, in my own personal observations and studies and shit like that. And in this video, I'm going to be speaking about how your Venus and Scorpio is going to be different depending on the house it's in, because all of that the Venus and Scorpio energy is going to direct itself differently in every house. So you may be a Venus and Scorpio and you may be friends with another Venus and Scorpio, but the things that you guys love and appreciate are going to be directed differently, because you may have your Venus and Scorpio in the first house and they may have it in the fifth house, so it's going to be modified completely differently. Oh, if you have Venus and Scorpio in the first house, I am sorry, but I don't think you are made out to love, because see, Mars is home in the first house, you know, and Scorpio does really well in the first house. So I'm assuming that you are an not Aquarius rising, a Scorpio rising with this particular placement, right? Or you may be you may be a Libra rising, and then your Scorpio Venus didn't quite make it in the second house, so that's full in the first house, you know, it could be that. But for the most part, you're probably a Scorpio rising or probably a Libra rising, as I said. But once again, I just don't see you being good at love. I think you'd be one of those people that, like, either A, you have intense trust issues, you know, because already, like, having your first house is your personality, your personal affairs, things that are personal to you, right? And if you have a Scorpio rising, then you take, like, your personality is sacred to you, you know, you keep your personality and how you handle your personal issues very privately. So people may not, you know, you don't want people to know things that you go through and, like, the transformations that you've gone through, even though it's going to be quite evident because it is your first house, so people may be able to see, you know, that you have control issues and that you're an intense human being and that you've gone through some shit, you know. But obviously, because you have trust issues, you don't want to let people in because you're a water sign, so that's your soft spot, like, that's your soul, you know. And the only way to retaliate is to be a hard bitch or a scary bitch or an intimidating bitch or human shorty person, you know. So that's the thing. So having that in your first house in Venus already doesn't like Scorpio. Venus does not like the first house. It doesn't. Because in the first house, you take things personally, but it's also like a selfish house, you know. This is the Aries house, you know, and we know Aries can be selfish. Not all the time, but they can be selfish. You know what I'm saying? So with this, and it's like a double Mars emphasis, and we're also adding Pluto here. Quite frankly, I just don't see it happening greatly for you, you know, unless if you have like a Libra moon, a Pisces moon, or if you have like a Cancer moon. No, I don't see it either. Maybe, you know, maybe I'd have to do your birth chart, but or maybe if you have a Leo moon, Jesus, you are one controlling human being in relationships. But that's the thing, you know, because having it in your first house, having this particular placement, you are somebody that wants to control the relationship and make it, you want to, like, tell somebody how to love you. Like, if somebody does something that you don't particularly like or agree on, it's going to make you frustrated and then retaliate, because once again, this is your soft spot, right? And this is what you love and appreciate. So how you show your love language is very selfish, basically. It's like you're self-serving people, and you love and appreciate your own self and your own personal, like, you love and appreciate your own personal, your own personal passions, your own personal personality, things that you go through personally. So people around you don't resonate with this, and that's most of the time because people obviously aren't like you. Not everybody majority of people in the world are not like you. So you're gonna encounter some hectic, like, relationship issues. And I feel like you've already like discovered this because you may be somebody that has dated people, and then you realize, oh my god, people don't know how to love me the way I want to be loved, you know. But once again, you also take your fucking time to open up to people and communicate to people what you like, what you don't like. So you think people are gonna read your mind, unless like they're Pisces once again, but you think people can read your mind and automatically guess that, oh, you take 5 years to really open up, or you know, you're somebody that needs space sometimes, you know. If you don't communicate these, and you probably don't, because once again, you also probably have major trust issues with this, you know, people are gonna run away from you because they think, okay, firstly, I don't know how to please you, because anything I do, if I can disagree on, we always argue about this shit. And when I ask you what you actually like, you wanna like be weird about it and be like, oh my god, what the fuck? How do you not know what I like? You know? But you don't wanna tell people that, for example, things that they do, if somebody does something that you do like, you may not really tell them that you like it because you want to keep that in the dark, because once again, it's a soft spot, you know? You may keep that in the dark, right? And let's say they're doing this particular thing constantly, and then you constantly tell them, I don't like that you do that, but secretly you actually like it. And then they actually stop doing it, and then you get mad that they stopped doing it, when in the first place you didn't even tell them that you like what they're doing because you showed that you don't like it, you know? It's just fucking weird. And then on top of that, you're gonna take shit because now you love and appreciate your own personal life, and obviously what's personal to you and things that you personally go through isn't what somebody else personally goes through. So it's that clash too, you know. So you like fucking impossible to please. Oh, you can be super impossible to please in relationships. So I feel like you are definitely somebody that would be like, you know what, I'm throwing the towel on relationships because it's not working for you. So you'd probably be the type of person that just like has either a dildo, or like you just randomly hook up with people that you know you can stay far away from, you know, just go over there, you know, that type of thing. Yo. Messy, you know. I just feel like these type of people probably do like, you feel like you do better alone, especially if you have an Aquarius moon with this placement. Woo! Or see, if you have a Leo moon with this placement, you're just so bossy. Like, you would direct someone and get pissed off and like super angry if somebody doesn't do things the way you want them to, and just completely confuse them and drive them into a spiral. Because once again, you also need passion all the time. And if you're dating someone who's like an earth sign, and they also need some time to recharge, so you're gonna want to like, you're gonna need consistent passion from them. And if you don't, then you're gonna get frustrated and cause more drama and just suck the life out of them. So you probably realize, you know what, it's better to just be alone. It's better to just please yourself, you know, because only you know what you like, because you're not telling anybody. And if you do, it's gonna be after 3 years. You know, you probably figured this shit out. So you're like, bro, listen, probably sat yourself down and you were like, you know what, maybe this relationship thing is just not for me. You know, or if you are dating somebody, it's probably because they've known you from childhood, and you know, you've accumulated like obviously a lot of understanding from each other, so they are like the only person you want to date, like the only human being you want to date, because they already know your ins and your outs, and you know their ins and their outs. So it's that type of situation, you know. So your love language is it's private, yes, but it's like personal. So you love and appreciate the people, places, and things that are personal to you. But that's only a few people, because that's like, you don't trust people to be in your personal life generally. And that's only a few people. Or like maybe not even your parents. You probably don't even trust your parents. Maybe it's like that one cousin you trust, and then, you know, it's like that one friend from high school. So it's like 2 people or 3 people. Like, it's definitely a handful. You know, it won't be like a group of people. I'd say maybe less than 5. That's my guess. But yeah, guys, that's Venus in Scorpio in the first house. I don't see it going really well for you, really. I see you definitely being married to your business, your job, you know. But humans, because once again, you still have control issues. Like, I think this is the placement for major control issues. I won't cap. Major control issues. Yeah. Anyway, moving on to Venus in Scorpio in the second house. So Venus likes the second house. It's home in the second house because Taurus rules the second house. We know second house is your personal values, your personality, things that are personal to you, shit like that. So having your Venus in Scorpio in the second house is somewhat like, the opposition thing, because Scorpio also doesn't like to be in the second house, nor does it like to be in Venus. So this is kind of like a double emphasis on Venus in Scorpio. Venus in Scorpio. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, Venus is home in the second house and Scorpio's there, so it's basically the same thing. So this is basically like so we know second house is like your possessions and your values. So first of all, like I said, having it in the second house, that's cool, but Venus is Venus in Scorpio is the downfall now. So you love and appreciate your possessing human beings, but you see their souls as also something tangible, like the human body, because the second house is an earth house. Like I said, it's a Taurus house. So when you get into relationships, or when you start dating people, or when you start considering having friends, you see your friends as like, these are definitely the type of people that, like, if I'm angry with this person, you have to be angry with this person. It's like you want to control somebody, and like, because you also, like, with this placement, you love and appreciate and you value your own personal, like, your power, your emotional power and your emotional intensity. And you love and appreciate other people who either can match that, or who feel like, you know what, you should probably just, have me, you should control this whole situation. So do your thing and I'll just follow and you take the lead. That's what you would love and appreciate in a relationship, So once again, going to the example, it's like, if you have beef with this person, you want somebody to just be on your side no matter what, even if you were wrong in the situation. You need and you love and appreciate people that are like that loyal, to the point where, like, they may see your mistakes and they'd be like, you know what, it's cool, I'm still on your side. But I feel like you also may love and appreciate people that would, like, they'd still be on your side, but they tell you, Brad, no, you were fucking wrong in that situation, I feel like you also love and appreciate people who aren't scared to tell you the truth. Because, once again, having Scorpio energy generally, like, people may, because you have this intense, like, your reactions are transformative and scary and intimidating. People may always like want to sugarcoat the truth, and that to you may see that as fucking weak or as a lie. You may like categorize that as a lie because you want to get the truth. Because once again, what's next to you is Sagittarius, which is the sign of the truth. So you may love and appreciate people who aren't even scared to like get that reaction from you, regardless of whatever they said or whatever you said or whatever they feel like you need to hear. Like, you love and appreciate people that are able to like look you in the eye and tell you the fucking truth, because these people you're gonna like really like hold in your heart and your arms and your hands and be like, you know what, you are my person, you are my homie, and you were honest with me the whole time, and I love and appreciated that about you, because now I can really trust you. And I know that no matter what, no matter how scary, no matter how intimidating the situation may be, you're always going to be down to tell me the truth, Like, you love and appreciate those types of things. But generally, I feel like you may love and appreciate some... Yeah, like I said, this is a double emphasis on this particular energy. So you may love and appreciate people that, like you love and appreciate, and your love language is being possessive. So how you show your love is like by being a possessive person. But once again, because you take things to extreme, you may like, this may be very extreme, and like another person may feel like you are like the same way my phone, like I have a phone, you like that person is your boyfriend, like, and you don't really obviously, you have like, as a Scorpio person, I feel like they have like a lot of fingerprints and like lock screens. I mean, not lock screens, but like, what's this? Security patterns that they have to go through in order to access something. So you may see your partners and your friends the same way, Like you may see them, you may be the one that's like, no, I am your security pattern, you know, and you don't want anybody, because you're gonna see whatever relationship you have as sacred, you know, and obviously anything that's sacred is worth protecting and not talking about, or like not having easy access to, or any access for that matter. So you would see your partnerships and your relationships the same way, as inaccessible. It's very sacred, you know. And if your partners do some shit like that to you, it's like, whoa, you just betrayed the sacred law of love. You must die. Or you must fucking reap the consequences, because how dare you. You know, that vibe. Yeah, so that's it for Venus in Scorpio in the second house. So I'd say just, man, you know, figure it out. Don't be so toxic. You don't have to be so fucking toxic. People have to be human beings and live their lives too, but not under your supervision. Like, anyway, and then having your Venus in Scorpio in the third house. We know third house is the house of Gemini. It's an air house, and it is the house of communication and friendships and neighborhoods and things that you are familiar with, because you have spent a lot of time analyzing and communicating with the people around you and being familiar with the people around you, because you've communicated, even if it was like superficial conversations, you know. So having your Venus in Scorpio in the third house, I actually have a homie. So here's how it's... You probably are Virgo, right? You're Virgo rising with this placement, right? So this also makes you somewhat of a reserved human being, because how you love and appreciate is through... You may be a better communicator than most Venus and Scorpios. Like, you may be a lot better at communicating your feelings, you know? Because, like I said, your intensity is going to be diverted in your words now. It's going to be in the area of life of thinking. So with this, it's like, you know, your love language is going to be communicating. Obviously, once you've gotten comfortable with somebody, but you're going to be able to communicate all your deep desires, your secrets, your deep passions, wills to the person that you trust the most, you know, and that's your love language. And you love when other people communicate that with you, you know, and how you, like, this is definitely the placement that loves to communicate a lot more than other Scorpios, because Scorpio generally doesn't really like to say much. They like to keep a Scorpio person would only speak when either A, spoken to, or when they feel like, okay, I need to contribute to the conversation. But with this particular thing, you obviously A, it's going to depend on your other placements, and B, it's going to depend on, you know, your comfort levels and your trust levels with people. But let's just say you do end up trusting somebody. You may also journal a lot with this particular placement. Like, if you're not dating somebody, you may journal your deep, intense things that you've gone through, and this is your love language. So if you're into poetry, or, you know, you may be the type of person that enjoys listening to Bajork, who's also a Scorpio sun and moon, or you may love and appreciate listening to I don't know, Lil Peep or something, you know. People, like, you just love and appreciate lyrics that have, like, some kind of, like, you know, Kendrick Lamar, people that talk about, like, shit that they've gone through in their lives. You may love writing about that, you know, or listening to that. And you love other people that, like, speak about those things. Especially if it's, like, in a poetic, kind of witty, smart way, you know. Like, you love and appreciate, like, your love language is either if you're not writing down things, because, like, third house would also deal with your hands and dealing with speech, but also your hands. So, and because obviously you're writing things down, so you may also, like, if you're into crafting or, like, art or, like, sculpturing, things that you sculpture may be, like, eerie or gruesome somewhat, you know. You may really love American Horror Story. I actually need to watch American Horror Story again. I need to binge on that shit. But yeah, you may really like that shit, like, especially American Horror Story, you know, where, like, the script was kind of very, it's, like, direct and, like, you know, psychologically piercing through your spirit, your soul. But for the most part, I feel like with this, having Scorpio in your third house, in your houses generally, like, when people speak to you, you're, like, already looking at, you're, like, reading between the lines of people and, like, what they're actually saying, you know, because obviously some people say things, but there's always there's always the why did you say that, and where did that come from, and what do you really mean, you know? Because obviously there's some people who sugarcoat the truth. You may be around a lot of air signs who know how to, like, you know, mix and mangle their words and manipulate their words, and you can read and feel right through that shit, you know? And I feel like also you are able to, like, do the same thing to other people, where you may be able to, like, color up your words into a specific way and manipulate other people so that they can do that. And you see, that's the thing with Scorpio, is that they know how to make somebody feel obligated, or make someone feel like they have to do, like, they know how to push somebody and kind of also make them, like, give somebody the feeling that they don't have a choice but to do that thing, you know, especially if you have this in your third house, you know. But for the most part, your love language, like I said, your love language is going to be telling somebody, writing it down, or sculpturing it, drawing it, music, lyrics, or writing about the traumatic things that you have gone through, or the traumatic feelings that you have about the world and your experiences and how you experience the world. You know, you're gonna want to write that down, and it's gonna be a very sacred thing for you, you know. But I also feel like this is definitely the mind reader. I mean, Scorpios can already read minds, but I feel like this being directed in your third house with, so the house of okay, so this may be a thing where you want to date your friend. You know, you love and appreciate having a long-term relationship with your friend, and then you and that homie start dating, because obviously you guys have known each other for a while, and there's trust, and there's respect, and there's acceptance. So you may want to fuck with your friend, or you may have long-lasting relationships with your friend. If you're not dating, you may just have long-lasting relationships with your friends, because like I said, third house is your friends. Or you may be type of person that's like, you stay in one neighborhood for a long time, you know. You move out to your parents' house, but you live like a street away, because Scorpio is loyal. It's a loyal. Once again, it's going to be different if you have like a Sagittarius moon or sun sign, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, you may just want to stay in your neighborhood because you've built emotional roots in your neighborhood, so you don't want to leave, you know, that type of thing. So yeah. And then if you have your Scorpio Venus in the fourth house, we know fourth house is your roots, you know, how you grew up, the energy that your parents raised you in. It's your childhood, basically, you know. It's kind of like your moon sign, only the moon sign is how you react to things. The fourth house is just it's basically your upbringing, really, as a child. And I feel like this is probably the most important. Anyway, but I'll do a video on why I think it's the most important house in your houses. But for the most part, if you have your Scorpio moon in the fourth house, you're a Leo rising. Now, Scorpio doesn't like being in the fourth house, you know, because it's like basically having a Scorpio moon, and we know Scorpio falls in the moon, it's asleep in the moon. But for the most part, you having a Leo rising and having a Scorpio in the fourth house, this already tells me that your home was like always very much chaotic, and like you always had some power control issues, either with your dad or your mom, or someone in your family was always just like causing shit and like making you go through transformations or stinging you, you know what I'm saying? Because like no matter what, there was always some kind of emotional turmoil at home. So having Venus here, you are definitely, see, this is kind of, they're not the same, but you are having Venus in the fourth house is loving and appreciating your privacy, right? And having Scorpio here is loving and appreciating your privacy too, but it's not so much privacy that it is secrecy. So if we add these together, you just love and appreciate people not knowing what you go through, and like not knowing the emotional situations that you've gone through at home. See, because generally, like I said, the Scorpio energy is not gonna tell you what they go through. You know, they don't want to let you in at all unless they have their own intentions, or unless they want you to know because they trust you, or because they have some kind of relationship with you, you know. But having the fourth house here, it's also a water house, so it's private. It's also behind the scenes. It's like not really direct, or what's this? extroverted with its energy. So having Venus and Scorpio in the 4th house, these are definitely people that are like not couch potatoes, but like they like being at home. But these are the type of people that like they have their own separate room, or their room is like their parents don't go in there. Like their room is their own personal sacred space. You know what I'm saying? And they love and appreciate this. They love and appreciate having like a separate, I guess, cave or room or space for themselves, you know. And if they love you, then they'll bring you to that, because that's basically like where they're most comfortable at. Because at home it's fucking chaotic, you know. There's either like drug dealers, they like they live with some drug addicts, or there was like addiction in the home, or there was just some kind of turmoil. Like there was never emotional. Okay, not to say, because having Scorpio in your 4th house does entail that there's always going to be some kind of financial stability, but obviously on other ends there may not have been, or perhaps there was like no steady emotional support, you know, because there was always like emotional turmoil or emotional transformation that the people, that Venus in Scorpio in the 4th house person goes through at home. So because of this, then they're like, okay, I either have to move out so I have my own space where I feel comfortable, or I have a room outside the house. Either think like, okay, I need to move out of the house, or let me, like my room at home, like nobody goes in there unless they're asking what I'm trying to eat. And nobody goes in there, you know, unless there's like a proper intentional reason, you know. And then your love language to somebody else, or your friends or people that you trust, is letting them into this room, like into your space, you know. This doesn't have to be like an actual physical room, but it could also just be like an emotional state of being, because you just may keep your emotions and your upbringing so close to you, because like that's the most softest, like that's your intense soft spot, you know what I'm saying. And you don't want anybody to just have access to that, you know, unless they've been your friend for a good 5 years, a good 6 years, and then you know, like, nah, this person's not going anywhere, so I can let them in like that, you know. So like I say, it doesn't have to be like an actual physical room. It could just also just be like specific traumatic experiences that you've gone through, and by letting somebody into your emotional space, that's how you show them your love and your appreciation, you know, that type of thing. And then if you have your Venus and Scorpio in the 5th house, so we know 5th house is how you have fun and enjoy yourself, and how you entertain yourself, and what you like to entertain, and things that make you feel good in terms of like having joy and fun, like Leo shit, you know, like a child, you know. So having Scorpio here, I think you're Cancer rising with this placement. So already this also makes you super, super private, you see, because you have like a trine with your Venus and your rising. So I feel like with this, you may also not like people coming, like, also the same as the previous reading, you just may not like people knowing about where you live, you know, you may not like people knowing where you live. I'm just gonna add this onto the Venus and Scorpio in the 4th house. You may not like people knowing where you live, generally. So having your Venus in Scorpio in the 5th house, this is definitely somebody that, so like I said, 5th house is how you have fun and enjoy yourself, right? So with this placement, so 5th house is also like your relationships and stuff, right? Like the joy of being in a relationship, and like, you know, like the honeymoon stages, that's 5th house vibes. So I feel like having Pluto and Mars in your 5th house, how you have fun and enjoy yourself changes a lot, but in how your love language is definitely having tons of sex, tons of it with one particular person, but also how you have fun, maybe what you enjoy may also be like you may enjoy watching like the crime channels, like like, what's this, obsessions, my dark desires, or like murder thingies, so you can like figure things out and like uncover situations. Like, that's what you love and enjoy. Like, you love and enjoy having to figure things out. Like, that's really fun for you. You know, you're probably the friend that knows how to Google your friend's ex-boyfriend to find out where they live, what happens, who they're dating now. That you're that friend, you know, and this is what you love and appreciate. Like, that's your love language, you know. I also feel like with this placement, you may be somebody that like you like to. I think you may love aggressive, playful love. You know, you may not. If you are shorty, you may like to hit your man, but playfully, and you may like for him to like choke you, but playfully. You know what I'm saying? It's always like intention, but you make it playful. You know. But just make sure to know who to do this with, because if you're with like a Libra, they may run for the fucking hills and leave and not tell you where they are, you know. Yeah, but having your Scorpio Venus in the 5th house, I also feel like in love, you just take love like super intense, like even more intensely than just having a Venus in Scorpio. Because having the 5th house here is like, this 5th house is also like how you express yourself. So this is like expressive love, you know? So you're gonna express how deeply and intensely you love somebody. And you're gonna feel sad when people are like, whoa, dude, calm that shit down. Because once again, you're an all or nothing person. But your allness in this is like 200%. And you know, not all, unless it's like a Leo or Aries or maybe another Scorpio, perhaps. But for the most part, like, your love may be like extreme and like drowning, you know, because like Scorpio is a water sign. And also, if you have like a Pisces moon with this, you're just gonna drown someone with all these emotions, because you're also gonna be expressing this love that you have for them, and it's gonna hurt you deeply to see other people kind of be like threatened or be like intimidated or like overwhelmed with it, you know, because you yourself may be overwhelmed with how much you can feel and how much love you have, you know. And just think of other people, because this is also intense and it's like all encompassing, you know. So you may just love that. You may love it with other people, but I feel like when you love and appreciate something, you're gonna give it all your attention, and it's gonna be all consuming, all encompassing. You know, you're literally going to like consume and absorb that particular thing or person or like situation, or you know, whatever. Like, whatever you do, you just go ham. And you love expressing these things about yourself, because that's your love language, you know. It's like expressing the deep dark shit that you go through, obviously with people that you trust, because I'm going to keep saying this, it's always going to be with people that you trust, or if you have like a certain level of trust. But it's also going to be modified depending on what you have in your sun and your moon, you know. But yeah, that's Venus and Scorpio in the 5th house. And then if you have it in your 6th house we know is how you your work ethics, you know, things that you do on a daily basis. It's like things you do every day, basically, on a schedule. And even if it's not on a schedule, but generally things you do every day forms a habit, and then that affects your health in every way, you know, mentally, physically, all of that shit, you know. But mostly physically, because it rules Virgo, and Virgo's an earth sign. So having Scorpio Venus in the 6th house is probably not the best placement, because Venus doesn't like the 6th house generally. Virgo falls in Venus, right? But the 6th house also falls in Venus, because whereas Venus wants to love and appreciate people for who they are, in the 6th house it's busy discriminating and like looking at what could be better and like what's wrong with it and like why it sucks so much. And if you have Scorpio here, I think you are a Gemini, right? Yeah, you're a Gemini rising with this placement. So, okay, maybe you, as a person, again, it's going to depend on your sun and moon, but as a person, I think because Gemini knows how to deceive people in terms of showing you one side and then not showing you another side, you know. I'm talking about your rising sign now, you know. And then having your Venus in Scorpio in the 6th house. So what you love and appreciate is, I also don't see you doing well in relationships with this. I will be honest. Before I say anything else, I don't see you doing really well in relationships. Like, you can communicate to people, definitely, especially if you have like a Mercury in Libra. The communication is definitely there, but I think the way that you express your love and how you show love may just make another person feel like you don't really want to be in love, because you may just pick out all the things that they're not doing right, and pick up on all, and like transform the other person to make them feel like nothing that they do is pleasurable to you, you know, because it's like, the way that you love, you always want to like, okay, so 6th house, let me say this. 6th house is already, it's ruled by Mercury, right? But it's Mercury, introverted Mercury, you know, so it's looking at the details of the physical things. And then if we have Scorpio here, it's like, okay, definitely you're not somebody that you'd want to be the boss of things. So let me speak about it in this way, because it doesn't always have to deal with relationships. So I think with this, you love and appreciate being in control at work, or being in control of things that you do on a daily basis. And you wouldn't want somebody to tell you what to do, because you want to have your own schedules. You want to be able to control your own schedules. You want to be able to control things that you do on a daily basis. You want to be able to control things that, like, you want to be able to control your own schedules and things that you do on a daily basis. So being in a job, obviously it's going to be different, because if you're like a mother and you need to provide for your family, then boom. But if you're not particularly like this, and you know, like, you have the luxury, I'm gonna call it a luxury, but you have the accessibility to be like, I'm gonna open my own business and do things that I want to do, and have full control of everything that I do and all the decisions that I make, then that's what makes you happy. Like, so I think your love language you would want somebody to give you complete control over things that you guys do together on a daily basis. And I feel like you wouldn't do well with somebody who's like very dominant, you know, like Aries types, because you would want to overpower them, because you don't want anyone to have control or power over you, generally, especially dealing with your health. So you don't want people to tell you like what to eat, what not to eat, even though you probably are vegan or vegetarian. But if you're not particularly that, or if you don't choose that diet, then I'd see you as somebody that, like, you would be able, like, your love language would be able to transform other people's health, you know, and heal other people's health. And you know the particular things that people drink, aka alcohol or smoke or intake on a daily basis, that makes them feel like, that makes it like, how do I say this? Like, you know what to tell people not to do and what to do in terms of when you should exercise, when you shouldn't exercise, shit like that. You know what to say to them to transform their own health. But generally, I feel like your health is also generally always transforming, you know? So make sure you exercise with this. Yeah. And then if you have your Venus in Libra in the 7th house, Venus is home in the 7th house, you know? This is the extroverted side of Venus, you know? So having this placement is like, you want, how you love, like, your love language is generally having intense relationships, you know, deep connecting relationships, because 7th house is one-on-one interactions with people. So you somebody that wants to have deep one-on-one interactions, and having somewhat superficial conversations all the time is going to be really irritating for you, because you're like, okay, like, as much as you can feel through somebody's facade, you know, you don't want somebody to, like, feel like they have to keep it up, because you like when people start melting and, like, really opening themselves up to you, because then that gives you room to, like, really analyze if you want to do that to them. It is kind of really fucking selfish, because you're going to be closed off at first and make somebody feel like, whoa, stay there, you know? But you love and appreciate when other people kind of relate the traumatic parts that they have to your own, because once again, the 7th house is like relating to one another's lives, you know, on a personal level, but an interpersonal level also, you know. So you probably connect with people, or you love connecting with people in that kind of level, or those vibes. Like, yeah, I've been through this. I've been through this. You've been through that. I've been through this too. Wow, we have so much in common. How did you get through it? I got through it because I did A, B, C, D, 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 whatever, whatever. And then you're like, wow, I can learn a lot from you. But I'm still kind of struggling with getting through it because I feel this way and this way and this way and this way. And then you like, you have those kind of relationships. Or even having existential, like, crisis conversations like, oh my God, when I took acid one time, this shit happened and I realized this. And then you're like, oh my God, me too. I went through this, But you also love and appreciate people who kind of know how to kind of merge their lifestyle with yours and kind of know how to censor out, how do I say this? People who know how to feel out when you need space and, like give you that space without making you feel guilty for recharging, aka Leos and Aries. Yeah. And Geminis, who probably don't know how to read the room or read your emotions. Or I think a Sag would probably know. Aquarius would also probably want that space too. But yeah, generally that's what you love and appreciate, People who just know how to feel things out and be like, okay, I get you. You need space right now. Cool. Got it. Yeah, that's that. And then if you have Venus in the 8th house, if you have Venus in Scorpio in the 8th house, congratulations, because I don't see you either having a relationship generally, overall, I don't see you dating. I don't. I don't see this happening for real, no shade, but like I really don't see it. So it's basically 8th house rules Scorpio, So this is a double emphasis on this. So you love and appreciate chaotic relationships. These are the type of people that will probably like toxic relationships, They probably really love the toxicity of a relationship. We either all in, you're giving me your entire soul, or we're gonna fucking fight. Like, we're gonna fucking fight. We're gonna transform each other, But it could also be a thing where you like to have sex with people on the low and, like, have sex with, like, other people, like, having sex with people, either, like, secret sex, or, and I'm saying secret sex, because, like, there's people walking in the passageway. You see, even like the way I'm saying it, like I'm being secretive about it. This is all 8th house shit, This, you love and appreciate these kinds of situations. Like, you love and appreciate, like, having those. We don't have to say anything, but we hear, like, we're communicating with our eyes. That's what you love and appreciate. You love and appreciate, like, communicating through mysticism. You love and appreciate, like, just secrecy generally, doing things in secret, and you know how to keep it. You know how to keep a secret. It may not be, like, especially your own secrets, Other people's secrets you may be a bit careless with because you don't really, especially if you don't really care about them. But you may, like, pillow talk other people's secrets, shit like that. But yeah, generally, I feel like you love and appreciate secrecy and being sworn to secrecy and, like, going 5 years and, like, doing something with a friend and only you two know about it, and it's like, oh yeah, we don't even have to say, we don't have to talk, we just know, like, that eye contact, that's the shit, but yeah, on the negative side, you just you have chaotic relationships with people, you may get into relationships with people who are fucked up, or you the fucked up one in relationship. Oh, my light just changed. Yeah, you may be the super fucked up one in a relationship. You may just be the one that causes so much turmoil. Or you may be the one that attracts people who do this for you, Or, like, some deadly situations, like super obsessive guys who would kill you because they have mom issues and, they're just reckless with their lives, so they're reckless with your life also, and they make you feel like, yeah, you deserve that, and then you also may start thinking, oh, yeah, I probably do deserve that because this so happens to be the type of dudes or girls that I attract, or you may be this type of person. This is on the negative side. On the positive side, you may love and appreciate, taboo situations like tarot cards, Reiki, astrology like this. You love and appreciate the occult. Love and appreciate things that people don't generally go for in terms of studying. Just like general healing, just seeing past what's being presented to you and going to its entire depths. That's what you love and appreciate. Like just being a detective, you love that shit. Yeah. So your love language, I feel like your love language would either be like healing because you both connected to each other in terms of like telling each other things that you've been through, in terms of like your childhood and stuff, and healing each other and you being healed and you healing them. Or just maybe you loving and appreciating toxicity generally. Go figure. Ninth house. So ninth house, like I said, this is how you experience things on a spiritual level, religious level, just general. Like when you experience things, you become wise, because you've been through situations that have taught you like, oh, okay, if I do this, then this happens. Or if I say these things or I go through these things, then this is the results, So you become wise in that aspect. So having your Venus in the ninth house in Scorpio, so this makes you a teacher. See, ninth house is like basically the teacher, the wise philosophical teacher. So you love and appreciate learning and also teaching the enlightened the enlightened conclusions you've gotten from all the experiences that you have gone through. So you as a person, you love and appreciate all experiences with this placement. Especially all like experiences that have made you gone through somewhat like, I don't know, emotional issues or emotional like experiences that have made you go through emotional turmoil or emotional ups or downs. You love and appreciate those kinds of experiences that have and I feel like you connect deeply to those experiences because they shape you to be who you are now. So in the end, you're gonna love and appreciate experiencing all the shit that you went through, whether it was good or bad, because now you're emotionally wise and you don't have to look at those experiences like, oh my god, they're so traumatic and so hectic. I feel like this is a better placement to have, like Scorpio in the ninth house, because you always like somewhat get a broader understanding of why, or you always make a broader understanding of why you went through that. You know what I'm saying? You may always attract some chaotic situations, but with adaptation or with like, how do I say this? With cultivating more experiences or with more with like more things that you've gone through, with more experiences that you've gone through, you already know how to formulate a higher wise understanding or understanding or understanding of why you went through that, and you're also able to tell other people, like your homies, your friends, or shit like that. You're able to give them advice. I feel like this would be a really good placement for somebody who's like a life coach, or like those people you'd see at AA meetings who direct the meeting and then they share their experiences. Like, yo, I used to be addicted to meth and I went through these steps to stop being addicted, and like those type of people. I feel like I see that happening. And if not, you love and appreciate going on YouTube and Googling other people's experiences and what they've gone through in their lives. So yeah, and then if you have your Venus in Scorpio in the 10th house, 10th house is your midheaven, so you probably in Aquarius rising with this. So generally, like your personality is gonna be detached, but having your Venus in the 10th house, I feel like this is also definitely a placement where you're all about your business and you love and appreciate knowing that you are in control of your career. And the way that you go about like taking control of your career is in such a focused, persistent way and a consistently persistent way. And you love and appreciate people seeing you or knowing you as somebody who's private, yes, but somebody who's like not to be fucking played with, not to be fucking played with, because already having Aquarius rising with this placement, you're like somewhat of a intimidating person, and having it in your midheaven also, like how people obviously know you as being someone who's private and very like intimidating or very like passionate about, like, but intensely passionate about what they do. So having in Venus, this is what you love and appreciate, so you love and appreciate this, like, you love and appreciate the struggle of knowing that you build whatever from the ground up, and knowing that you don't own anyone anything, so I feel like this definitely somebody who loves and appreciate their business, and their status and their reputation, and they take, like, they're very protective over their reputation, because this is what they love and appreciate. And how they show their love language is by somewhat, if not telling you what they're doing, because once again, Scorpio is not going to tell you shit. They're like so low key. So if they love you, or if they're at a point where they're super comfortable with you, then they'll tell you some of their moves, or they'll tell you that I'm planning on doing this, and I want you to help me, or I would like for you to be part of it. That's their love language, because the Scorpio is definitely not going to ask anybody for help unless they see that person as someone who can elevate them from point A to point B, that type of thing. But yeah, definitely you love and appreciate your business. You want to compromise with your business, and you rather compromise with your business than having to, like, I feel like this is definitely the placement of somebody who would choose their business over actual relationships, because also having the Aquarius rising, you're somewhat of an awkward person, so you've probably realized that, like, human beings are kind of weird, so you'd rather, like, put all your energy into your work, yeah. And then having it in your 11th house, having your Venus and Scorpio in your 11th house, is you are a Capricorn rising, so you're also a reserved person, so I feel like this is somebody that you love and appreciate people that you may not see. Here's the thing, right? When you were younger, you probably, like, really loved and appreciate going out, meeting new people, and you probably were super naive and you thought everybody loves you and the world is cool. And you had associates, because 11th house associates in social media, so you had, like, associates. And you love and appreciate associates, or people that came from places that you don't know, and, like, just general people that you didn't really know, and that didn't come from areas that you grew up in, like, this is what you loved and appreciated. So having your Venus in Scorpio in the 11th house, I think growing once you got wise and knew that you can't just trust anybody, and those people transformed you because they either used you, or I don't know, they almost sold you, or shit like that, just some chaotic shit, like, because you learned that how you show your love now, or maybe not how you show your love, but I feel like this could definitely be somebody who's private on social media, and then their love language is to invite you into, like, their social media, or, like, their pages on social media, or because here's the thing, they're always getting transformed by their acquaintances. Having Pluto, having Scorpio in the 11th house, you're always getting transformed by your acquaintances. So perhaps maybe you still love and appreciate meeting new people, but you've learned the social skills to know what to give out, what not to give out. The social skills to, like, you've already studied human beings, and you've already felt through all those experiences, so you know what to give out, what not to give out. Because you're gonna love and appreciate acquaintances. That's definitely there. That's still gonna stay there. But I think now you've also just added boundaries and limits as to how much love you express, or how much love you choose to, like, show, or, like, make someone feel. Those type of vibes, yeah, I think I'm getting, I really see that being a thing. Yeah. And then if you have, last but not least, if you have your Venus in Scorpio in the 12th house, then you are a Sagittarius rising. So Venus is exalted in the 12th house, right? Cool. Because the 12th house is, like, all about the subconscious and connecting to the emotional subconscious and loving people for who they are and not judging them based on what they are. You could love a dog just by it being a living thing, You love homeless people just because they're living things, You just love and appreciate, and you're not judgmental to people. Just not. That's why it's up, like, in the 6th house, it's very judgmental, and it's, like, scrutinizing to who it's loving, and it's like, yo, do better, why are you doing this, why are you doing that? But in the 12th house, it's just like, yo, man, I love you for who you are, don't change, because I just love you. And even if you do change, I'm gonna love you, and I'm not gonna judge you or tell you what to do. But having it in Scorpio, see, you're probably somebody that already has like dreams where you're fighting or killing people. Like having Scorpio in the 12th house is like transformative dreams, or dreams about death, dreams about violent shit, you know. Mars is there too, so it's like always some power and control, violence, death, fighting type of things, you know. So how this modifies itself, I feel like you are definitely somebody, like how you love and appreciate has no bounds, but it's like this is definitely the placement that would kill for people. Scorpio in general would kill for people. Like having Scorpio or Venus, you would, if you love somebody, you're gonna kill for them generally. But it's like having it in the 12th house, I feel like you somebody that's super generous with other people. So I don't want to say you'd kill for anybody, you know, but you definitely do love other people. Maybe you would fight for everybody, especially if you see somebody who's a lot weaker than the person who's the predator. You probably fight for them, like those injustices, you know. But I think maybe on the negative side, you may be like super judgmental, or not judgmental, but like super somewhat negative, or not negative. How do I say this? Having your Venus in the 12th house in Scorpio, I feel like you could be somebody that... This is going to happen subconsciously though. You already know how to dive in somebody's subconscious just generally by standing next to them, you know? And you know how to transform other people's subconscious. Whereas Pisces would just be linked to you and like become you. You know how to transform other people's subconscious mind, you know? And kind of connect to other people's subconscious and unconscious mind without them knowing, and transforming them in that way and making them feel comfortable to open that side of them to you. Could be that thing. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe this video. Remember, if you would like a birth chart reading from me, hit me up on my Instagram, and the link will be down below in the description. Make sure to check out my other YouTube, Avocado Man, where I do other things. And I will see you in my next video for Venus in Libra.